Welcome to Exploring Possibilities. I'm your host, Cheryl Sitz. I'm a holistic spiritual speaker and coach and the founder of Journey of Possibilities. And week after week, we have some really interesting guests and conversations on this show. So make sure you subscribe and you won't miss any. You can do that on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Google Play. And remember to rate us. That helps other people find the show so we can continue to grow. And we'll be back with the show in just a sec.
Have you ever gone to a social media seminar and you have the online experts telling you, get a blog, get a website, get on social media, all this other stuff. By the time you're done with that seminar, that online expert is very good at frying your brain. And the funny part is, you come back home, you get in front of the computer, and you're lost. Hi, I am Mario with Tech Life Balance. I see this all the time. You spend so much money and still don't know what is going on with your online presence. And you probably don't need all of that. Let me go ahead and translate Geek to English for you and show you what you really need, because you don't need it all. You probably only need a few components. You have a great message out there, and I would like to hear it, and I definitely want to help you put it out there. I am Mario Rosales with TechLifeBalance.net. I produce this podcast because I love distributing messages. Let me help you distribute your message.
Who are you? Why are you here? What wonders and opportunities await you beyond physical death? What happened millennia ago to create the damaged earth and fractured societies you see around you? Empowering, enlightening, internationally acclaimed, the Joseph Communications books offer answers to these questions. Spiritual, concise, contemporary, non-denominational, the communications originate from Joseph, a highly evolved discarnate spirit concerned for you and the future of the planet and its peoples. The words of Joseph and his soul group give you the power to bring light and change into your own life and the lives of others, and to restore the earth. Available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook formats, the communications can be ordered today at www.thejosephcommunications.com, and also from Amazon and other major booksellers. All proceeds are used for further publishing and advertising, and to make the communications available worldwide.
This summer, a former show guest, Eva Marquez, you might remember she came on and talked about star seeds and Lemuria and all of that, a really great show. She and I have been putting together a meditation for you. We want you to join us. We're celebrating 30 years with Harmonic Convergence 333. It's going to be a global meditation, and the purpose of this is to send out unconditional love and light to the world. We want everybody that can to meditate with us on August 11th at 1:11, and we'll be filling the crystals of the earth with light and unconditional love. You can learn more about it on Facebook or the internet at Harmonic Convergence 333, and then mark your calendars and join us from wherever you are on August 11th, or create your own event. We'd love to have you. Today's guest is Nicole Ashton. She's a mother, daughter, creator, and soul facilitator who has actually died and returned, conquering fears of the unknown and bringing back divine light to share the message of healing. She performs heart-centered healing with individuals, couples, and groups. Her spirit-guided cellular level healing involves the mind, body, emotions, and soul. Nicole says that deep within the heart is a portal to your spirit, and she helps us access that. Her website is energyhealingbydesign.com. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're with us. It's been so fun getting to know you recently, and I'm just delighted to share you with our audience and your amazing story. I'm sure you hear that all the time, but it really is amazing.
Yeah, I am so honored to share it, and each time to me it's really brand new. And I struggled with that for a minute because I would tell my story, and then each time I would go to retell it, I would have a kind of a fear of forgetting it. And I had to sit with that and say, Nicole, it's your story. Why is this happening? Why are you are you talking to these? You go in front of these people and you get nervous. And as I sat with that, I realized that why spirit has this kind of veil put back down on me each time is so each time I tell it, it's exciting. and because it's brand new to me too. And that's why when I tell the story, it's still so new, and it still has that excitement. And so now I just sit with it and I let the Spirit remember my story, because each time that each year, I guess, that goes past, the story becomes my past. And I'm very aware that not to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another reason why I get to move out of the amazing awakening I had, but yet stay in it and be present. And then when I share it, it's this brand new, like it just happened to me yesterday, and it brings the innocence of it. And that's what I have been guided to just trust, I guess. Trust and let it flow.
I love that. Well, and there's something in that for all of us, because I think no matter what our story is, we can experience some of that if we continually share our story is like, okay, I want to keep it fresh and new, and I don't want to live in that past. So that's beautiful that you shared that with us. Thank you. So you actually left us. You were gone and came back.
Yes. So actually 10 years ago, it will be 10 years in August, and it was around the 11th. So we can't remember the exact time, but it was around the 11th. So that's interesting. You're doing your stuff on August 11th.
Wow.
However, it will hit the 10-year mark that I got the opportunity to go into the white light and be there for 10 minutes. So I was dead for 10 minutes.
And remember that. That's just amazing. Have you sat with, why do I think this happened to me? Have you asked that? Why did I die and come back?
Well, I was very aware when I was in the white light, and I'll share a little bit about that in a minute, but I was very aware that I had chosen this before I came, and I had chosen a path of compassion and enlightening people and staying in the purity of the divine. And I've known that since a child. I did see angels when I was a child, and my mom and family had reminded me of the incidences or the experiences that I have. And so I was aware of this path I had chosen before I came. However, I moved away from it, and I started, life happened, as all of our lives do, and I picked up alcohol. And so when I died, I knew the minute that I couldn't breathe, the second that these two angels came and got me, that I was going to be reminded why I'm here, because through the alcohol of 2 years, I had forgotten. And so I knew it immediately before I was even in the divinity of the God creator light, whatever that looks like to you. It's love. It loves us dearly.
Can I ask you, just from a more 3D earthly perspective, what were the circumstances surrounding the cause of your death?
So I went in for surgery. I had cancer cells removed, and I came home. And 2 years prior to this, I had picked up alcohol because of a divorce. I had all the excuses why I fell into the alcoholism, but the fact is I did pick that up. And I went in for the surgery. I came home and I drank the amount I usually did. And the combination of the medicine, the drugs that they give you when you go into surgery, and the alcohol had a reaction in my body, and I stopped breathing.
Wow. Take us through that. What was that experience? What do you remember of that experience?
Well, I remember all of it. I remember my son, which was only 16 at the time. I remember watching him do his own thing. And I remember just sitting in my chair, and I breathed out and I couldn't breathe back in. And at this time, I just became very, very cold, and my whole body just started freezing. And I knew I couldn't make any sounds or anything. So I just knew I was going. And I'm like, I'm going to die. And all of a sudden, these beautiful lights, which some people call them angels, some people call them lights. We all have our own scope of what that looks like. But these angels that I've seen since I was a child, 2 of them came in and got me and literally just put me in the white light. And As I'm in this white light, I got to observe the beauty of all that is. I got to go through the tears again. I got to go through the happiness again. And I got to kind of observe and witness. And at this time, I trusted it was all my lifetimes, not just this one. And as clients come to me now, I feel like that somehow why I'm able to assist them on such a deep, intimate level is because I've literally even seen it in this light that I knew this was going to happen, or I lived it. And that boundary is unsure to me, but I do know that that every client that steps in my space, I felt in that light. And as I'm seeing this past, present, and future now, and this time you don't try to analyze anything. You can't. It's impossible because the white light is all information, love. It's this masculine, feminine love and light that just adores you, and it's like it's holding you in this loving space and saying, this is the information that you're going to go back with because this is what your journey is, and this is what you get to do. And here's this information, and how are you going to accept it? How are you going to allow it? And that is when I got to choose. I was in full choice of this creator isn't judging me, is allowing me to see myself, observe myself, and come back and do great things like that light does. And as I'm feeling this love and light, I get to now start choosing, and I get to see different, like 10 minutes is lifetimes, it seemed like, but I got to never see like a form of an angel, just not everything is no form, but different frequencies, lights, vibrations, just this energy that flows in a harmonious way around you. And at this time I chose forgiveness. And I already knew I was created in compassion and love. So that's already me. That's already the I am I'm coming back as. And so as I'm choosing forgiveness, and I just hear these words of unconditional love, relearn no religion, and keep it simple. And you will do your work very, very harmoniously. And as I move back through these different expressions of self or different expressions of light, it was almost as if I could observe the universe in a harmonious pattern. And prior to this, I hadn't learned about chakras, or I hadn't learned about energy fields, and I hadn't learned really much of anything when it comes to any holistic or any spiritual things. I hadn't ever really learned anyway. So as I'm observing this beauty that is this harmonious universe, I'm moving back down, and I recognize my body, and my body is dead weight with water in it. And as I'm sitting there in observation of what am I supposed to do right now, my attention goes back up to that divinity, that white light that is. And that this message was moving through my soul, my spirit, and saying, bridge this light back into your body, right into that one. And I observed one cell, and later on I found out they're biophotons, but one cell in the spleen area. And I'm like, all I knew is I dive into that cell and my body will wake up. And it did. And I could feel this flowering of life. And then I was outside of my body at this time, and then I saw the ambulance defibrillate me, and I moved back into my body. At that time, I can remember trying to share. I don't know the timelines on this, and my mom and family can't really remember, but at this time I wanted to share, but it wasn't, I couldn't form words. I could speak, but I couldn't form words. It wasn't making sense. I recognized I couldn't move, and so my body was responding, and so they put me on more medicine, and then I noticed that my brain would shut down. And so I just went into a stillness, into a silence, and asked the creator to stay with me and show me how to do this purpose, like I shared, I saw my past, present, and future, and I got to see what I'm doing now. And I got to get I received instructions of the body and instructions of how to share the light, but I knew I couldn't do it in this body that's not working. And so I stayed in a state of meditation, stillness, just observing. I don't know the verbiage that we would use here on this earth, but for me, it was, I did not want to leave that light until it showed me how to awaken my body. And so my personality was knocking on the door saying, hello, I'm not leaving you. So until you show me how to do this, that's really, really that truth that had to come through, is I had to have that really childlike personality saying, you know what, you put me back here. now let's do this together, while being silenced to my family, because I was hearing that I wasn't going to walk again. I was hearing that all this stuff that I had done and how hard it was to take care of me. So as I stayed in silence, I was able to, my family brought me down this laptop, and I was learning, just learning. And I have a vast consciousness with not being able to speak. Therefore, they was thinking that the brain injury had shut me down, and I wouldn't regain the consciousness that I had before. However, I was in that state on purpose so that I wouldn't share, and so
Wow.
I could heal. And at about 12 months, am I talking a lot? I'm not letting you talk. I'm sorry.
I'm just letting it all flow in. I'm just,
Okay.
There's questions that come up this is an incredible story. And, some of the questions that came through as I was listening to you share your story were, so many people probably wouldn't want to come back. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, including myself, who through whatever processes or ceremonies have reached that beautiful state of higher consciousness, and coming back isn't always a popular choice. Some people are like, hey, I really like it. Some people that work with plant medicine and different ceremonies like to stay in that state more often because the world is kind of messy right now. And so, how did you go through that movement of you wanted to come back, correct?
I did. I got to observe the growth that's here, and I also got to see what it would look like if I came back and if I didn't. And I love this experience. I love the human so much, and anybody that has interaction with me knows, they feel it from their core. I love the human. No matter what journey they're on, no matter where they're at, no matter if I'm in a recovery center or if I'm in the jail or if I'm in the up on the mountains with the masters of the Tao or in with the temples with the monks, I love them the same. And people feel that and they heal through that. And I that love that I could feel, and I knew that it wouldn't be easy coming back. I knew I might not even make it back. And if I didn't even know what was going to happen. But I trusted that if I could awaken my body and I could show my body how to heal or remind my body how to heal, and I could stay in the divinity of light and the pureness of a child, that I can share that, and that would become a ripple effect for people to heal. Therefore, Mother Earth will, I got to see her suffering as well. When you are an observer to all that is down here, you see that she's heavy.
Yes.
And to be able to now, it makes more sense to me now what I saw, but to be able to know that you can make a difference just being this one person, you can be the miracle that people are praying for, and you trust in that so much, you're going to show up and it's going to work. No, it has to. It's a universal law. And so that's one law that I trust. So I knew this, to bring this harmony into this body and do whatever it took to get it moving, and then just trust that whatever I share is authentic, to not relearn anything, not because it's right, wrong, or good or bad, because as many people as that I do assist or that I hold space for assisting, I have no judgment, because I don't know what they're talking about most of the time. I don't know. I don't have the communication breakdown or the internal argument who's right or wrong. I just accept your words as that's your lens. You see it. That's your lens that you see it through, and the view that you got taught, and that's okay.
Absolutely. That's perfectly put. Yes. It all that matters is that it's true to you, right? So that's your reality right now. And how can we work within that? Because that's what's real for you.
Right. And then I learned there's 7 billion people, over 7 billion people. And then I kind of giggled inside, like we should, there's no way we all think this same thought anyways, because we have a
Right.
different frequency. So,
Yes.
so how the words that I came down with is, relearn nothing except for, to share this love that you know. So share what you know. And I have, and that's the one thing that beyond a shadow of a doubt, I know that love from Creator.
You said that you love the human, and I really want to play with that for a minute. There is so much, if we look at the news, if we look at the tragedies, if we look at the pain and suffering, there is so much about the human condition that can cause concern. So when you say you love the human, are you saying that you love the human in its most idyllic, perfect form, or you love it flawed and messy? What is it that you're loving?
I feel embracing it in all expressions, because the flawed and messy and the all its glory are the same, because we are all one. And I don't see me any different than the addict that I go help in the street, that I pull a needle out of their arm, than I do going and handing a towel to the master. There's no different. They're the same as I. And in order to deliver a frequency of love and unity, you get the opportunity to fall within yourself, to be with yourself, and realize that it doesn't matter what these two people that I just talked about, the addict in the street and the master in this temple, they may not ever cross paths because of their learned beliefs, that one's better than the other. And I've experienced this personally. Guess what? I get the opportunity to hold an open door so they can meet, their energies can meet, and whatever healing can happen, it will happen there. Your consciousness doesn't have to know that happens. Subconsciously, we're all connected, and we know that. So if I can bridge a knowing, then I show up. And they are drastic areas that I show up in all areas, but I am in a knowing that you're seeding a light that is needed, and you're bridging people that need each other, that would not talk otherwise, would not share space otherwise. And that right there is a gift. That's right there is bringing, because as the energies go, the frequencies go, frequency and vibrations go, and Mother Earth knows us as that. As a frequency, vibration, and energy, not a color, not an addiction, not a behavior. She knows this as that heartbeat, that we all beat the same exact beat without even telling it. That's what she knows. So in order to make a really strong frequency, or a really strong electrical magnetic field of pure love, is to bridge these hearts that people forget that they have, because their mind is telling them they're separate. Does that make sense?
It does. So how would you share with us the best of what you've learned with that? It's like, what would you tell me that I can do, or the listener that she can do or he can do, to be that bridge too, or to be a better form of that bridge, and to bring ourselves and humanity healing through what you've learned?
That is one of the questions I get asked the most. And my experience and example is to forget what you've learned and start new. I mean, because if you really think about it, the only judgment, the wars, all this stuff that is been created is all from different views. So as a collective, focusing on, okay, for instance, this might be what you're asking, because remember, I'm still learning English too. I'm still learning how to communicate. I can communicate with the archangels and the Creator and bring through frequencies, but I'm still learning communication. So your questioning is I sometimes take it right and I sometimes don't. That's what we're trying to teach, is lenses, right? We all have our own lens. And mine is as a child, so I have to sometimes ask for help out with my guides. But I've been observing this. when people they have come to me, so my clients, they come and they say, I think I'm sick because of this retrograde. I think I'm sick because of the way Mother Earth is. I think I'm sick because of this. I think the wars are because of this. And they keep thinking. They're thinking themselves into all of this stuff. And so I'm like, what would it look like if when we heard something, we sent love instead of added to the chaos? Because the idea that something's happened in the universe or the cosmos and something's coming at us is very bringing an awareness that there is something else out there. However, as a human, we have such a fluctuation and an intense emotion that we affect the outcome more than the cosmos ever could, because they're harmonious aligned. They move through, everything moves through a vibration. It's either attracted or it's not attracted. And so by intensifying past patternings or things like that, I've found that the people are bringing more of a chaotic emotion or energy to just natural things that could easily get past. But yet you Facebook it and everybody's having this intense emotion of what has happened in the past, or this intense emotion of what could happen because the scientists said, and that doesn't make sense to me, because collectively we're so powerful.
Yes.
And so I like offer the opportunity to people to like kind of recreate the patterning of the way we think when we're saying, what if that happens? Oh man, no, snap. It seems like that's what everyone says. All their what ifs is like a negative what if. So change it to, what if that was amazing blast of pure love and light. I don't know, I mean, let's change our what ifs to a positive what if.
Yeah, it really is reprogramming. I mean, everybody that I talk to every week on this show, everything that I read and do, it's all about reprogramming ourselves from past experiences and all that knowledge we crammed in our head to this more positive, uplifting, loving, what if the amazing happens kind of beings, right?
Yeah. I trust that so dearly, and I think the more people that come together in the same energy, and it's the thing that I grasp onto is this isn't just an idea of energy. This is a fundamental of energy.
Yes.
If you are in delight, if you're in this joy, and I found this out with clients, and I have walked into a hospital with clients that are suffering, and I used to go and walk in there and assist them in crossing over, so they were balanced and centered, and I would go to the suffering with them, kind of, because that's what I'm still mirroring people too down here, and as I went into another person suffering from the same thing, and I went in with a joy, because this man was joyful, even though he was ready to go to the other side. He was really joyful, and so I'm joyful with him. Well, he ended up not. He stayed here with us because his illness went away. Same illness, but it was how I showed up. It was how he showed up. And so then I started mirroring that, and I would go in and I get people ask me when they're have cancer or things like that. They ask, I'm dying. How can you come in here with this joyful energy? And I'm like, just try it with me for a minute. Just try it, because what can you lose?
Yes.
And so they do, and that's why the outcome and the people are coming to me is because it's working, and it's them shifting their energy just like by this little spark of switching the pattern of what people have told you has to be, or what I've been told to be careful about like the symptoms and what I've done a little bit. So I'm not supposed to talk about some stuff.
Yeah. I understand because
Okay.
we're still in the 3D world in some senses. So I totally get that. But basically what I'm feeling you saying is that you are working with people, the clients, the people that you help, you are shifting the vibration with them. You're showing them a possibility for them to step into that higher frequency, at which point things transform on the physical level.
Yes. And without talking medical, going as much into the medical field, I'll share so when we do see these clients, what I've been told is that if you were to bridge it with somatics or with other kind of theologies that have been kind of observing my work, is they say that I either do like a reset or a template, that their template is reset and remember to their innate blueprint. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I've kind of played with that with you a little bit. Just a conversation with you for 10 minutes, I could feel like a completely different person. So yes, you hold this really high vibration that really allows us to step into miracles to the degree that we're willing and ready and able to do that.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of feedback on that so my observation is that when we step in a space together and we're co-creating this healing for you, and as soon as you're able to, so we'll speak kind of you, because we have had the opportunity to share space. So as like you and I step into that, you are surrendering to the light because you're allowing that beautiful light and that frequency to move through you. And then your body is going to find the most joyful or happy light or space. And so when I move away, it's going to seek that. And the most amazing thing is it's seeking. But sometimes your body needs that mirror of what it was like before you came here. And eventually all of a sudden you're like, oh, there I am. The rest of the stuff doesn't fit anymore.
I love the way you put that.
Well, so I have all these ideas of what people say about what the sessions look like with me, but that is exactly how I feel. Is I just hold this space, I hold your hand, I get to be a huge part of that part. But as soon as I hit the creator light through my heart, you feel it. Your blueprint starts activating, your design starts remembering, your because your crystalline caves, or where your information in the earth start remembering. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I can put my footprint, my handprint right here on Mother Earth, and I'm going to get information not only from above but from below. And that is actually how I learned to walk again, but is by learning from what Mother Earth had to tell me. But that's what your body starts remembering. So it gives you an opportunity to let go of the energy that's not serving you. So most of us know that your body only can handle so much energy, positive and negative. And as you're stepping into that white light, or the creator light that knows you and that you came from, your body can't not mirror it. And so what it automatically, innately does is move out this mistruths, the stuff that doesn't serve you any longer. And that is the intent of the finding you, I guess.
I love that. The finding you. That's perfect. Because somewhere underneath all the gunk that we get lost in is the truth of us. And you help us kind of get that out and dust it off again and shine again. So as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about all the different ways that we pick up all this gunk, right? And we eat the right or wrong foods. We do the right or wrong things. We're too lazy. We're too active. We're too this. We're too that. There's so many messages out there of all the things that we should and shouldn't do to be in our highest and best state. And you describe it more as a falling away of all that stuff, so our highest and best state can simply emerge. So how do you feel about all that messaging and programming and like, is there truth in there somewhere, or should we just forget about all of it, or what?
For me, I have asked all those same questions because I did get my memory all the way lost or wiped out or whatever that looks like, but I couldn't remember anything except the white light archangels and the ascended masters when I came back. That's all I remembered. I did through pictures and things like that remember my children. Emotions are still not, I don't understand them. I love my kids and I have a grand love for all things, but I had to work in a space of knowing my children again and understanding that love that they have, that attachment to love that most people have. And then I got the opportunity to go through each client that I see and see that this attachment to love is one of the core or the source emotions that cause illness and cause depression, is because there's so many emphasis on love that causes you to think that there's one love better than the other, and you live in a lack of. And that's when I started going into the programming and going, okay, well, where did this happen? So if to go into a body, then I'm guided to go to the core source of the illness. Now we're going to the core source of why is humanity so programmable, I guess you might say. And so I sit in meditation for this time, I think it was 6 months. This means I'll eat a little bit, drink a little bit, and go in my room. And I got that clear back when we were this divine spark. Everybody got along and was exactly the same. Life happens, like life came here. We got along, no communication through verbiage at all. And I get to watch all of this creation happen. And then the ego steps in and people start creating this word around love and loving you more. I love you best. I love you beyond this and above that. And that really is the core to almost everybody's lack of or disharmony in their life. And so I started building on that, which when I ask for lessons, I usually will get them through other people. So then I got through when I was trying to understand this communication breakdown, not only in the body but with people and the programming and in this adventure I got the opportunity to go to Taiwan. I wasn't thinking about a communication breakdown. I wasn't thinking about anything except for I was guided to be on this mountain at this certain time and learn from these indigenous and also get to meet Master Quo. So I just got on a plane. I get in the plane and I'm like, oh snap. I don't speak their language. I'm on this 13-hour flight and I have no idea how to communicate with people. And you know what? I just did it. I went and this lady said a couple words that were English that sat next to me, and I realized that I was just fine. The angels were with me, and this lady helped me, assisted me through Hong Kong and the other Taipei, and we get to Taiwan, and a translator showed up. He just happened at the last minute. He speaks English and Spanish and Taiwanese, and he came the last minute, decided that he was going to come. And so everything happened just divinely on purpose. Well, that also gave me the opportunity, because all these questions that you've asked, it seems like a whole bunch of stuff I'm answering at once, but it's all like come down to this silent moment as I'm sitting on the mountain. I realize that we get in our own way, that we block the feelings through trying to have a better word to explain how we feel, how we see other people, and to have a new idea to be important. And therefore, it's kind of broke down our ability to be a really sovereign human and be influenced by other things that we think look better than us, because we forgot that amazing human or that amazing creation that you get to look in the mirror every day is you. And then as that happened, I'm like, oh my goodness, it it literally has obviously happened since, we were able to speak and communicate, and instead of just feeling, which, that's evolving. That's what life happens. But what we get to do is now just go back to that. Go back to when there was no words, when we didn't get in our way, and when we didn't get in each other's way. So I started doing that, and I found that through that, people got what they needed, not what I thought they needed. They would sit, and I would say a few words that I was guided to, and I realized people are getting what they are needed, or what they needed. So then I get asked about the programming again, and the only thing that I can think to say that is just so genuine is go back to that genuine space and take back that power that's within you, because we don't need a scientist telling us about energy anymore. You know what? We knew it before they did, but it took them to giving us permission to stand in it. And
that's so true. That's so true.
And I found it very interesting and I love these people that that have been working side by side with me. And I loved coming to Houston. I had some doctors, the theology, medical doctors, and you've probably been in those groups. And there's such a wide range of people, and they were all so accepting of my story. And they asked amazing questions, and we bridged somatics, we bridged some medical fields, some quantum, all these different scopes of my story. I loved it because we could play it in every field, and it fit.
You are a bridge. You're such a bridge for us to see beyond all of the things we've bought into for so long, because this really is a time of breaking down all the systems that we thought we were building to help ourselves that have actually come to imprison us. And you're showing us how to be free of those, how to release those that no longer serve us and see beyond that. And it's such a great gift.
I am so honored to be able to be on your show and to be able to share this information as it comes to me. And it's always also through my lens. And I do have that purity, that pure innocent lens because of the reset I got when I died and came back. However, it has been a fun journey to not adopt or adapt to other people's beliefs and especially when they're all around me. And so what I get to do one of the fun things I'm like, Nicole, observe where the box that they tell you they're in. So people will come and tell me they're in a box. I'm in this box, mm-hmm. and this beliefs don't fit anymore. And how do we get out of the box? And I'm all, Then I'm like, you know what? Through trying to help you, I got to realize that I was creating my own box. I was creating the box again because of like belief systems that just float around.
Yeah.
That you start applying to your life. And I'm like, get out of that box. I didn't fit in it when you created it, when you guys created it for me, because they kept trying to put me back in that box. And so I feel like it's really about just sitting and being in that observed state. And it took somebody saying, I want out of this box. And for me to realize, wow, I'm building one around me. It might be a different perception, but yeah. I'm kind of doing what I tell people not to.
We all do it. I mean, as long as we're on earth, we keep slipping back into that. I don't care how much we know better, we fall back into it because you're right. It's floating all around us.
Yeah. So one thing that's helped me is to actively bring awareness to it daily and ask, what box am I building? What wall did I put up? Where did and just kind of surf in your body, seeing if you're holding fear. It seems like a lot for people, because people will ask me all the time, I want to be just like you. How can I be just like you? Like, you can't, because we're going to show you to be you. and that's even better, because once you stand in your fundamental ray, you're unstoppable, you're limitless. And we come here to experience this limited awareness, I guess, to find the awareness. So now it's time to break free of that. But
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, time is just time. This thing that we made up that we all play by is flying by. So
Yes.
I want to kind of wrap this up with a question I ask all of my guests, which is if there's one parting thought that you'd like to leave us with today.
Choice keeps coming back to me is we're all at choice, and true authentic choice comes through when you surrender to your past and what you think that you know, because uninfluenced choice is going to bring you into a very harmonious and happy tomorrow or the next hour. It's really up to you to choose